Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. My name is Dan. With us, we have the usual cast of Thomas. That's where you say hi.
Hi.
Nick.
Hey.
Ryan.
Hello.
And instead of Tyler, we have a very special guest today, our good friend from high school, Owen Poling.
Hello.
Owen, would you like to... Excellent. And today we have a special sponsor for today's podcast. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Daredevil Airways. Tired of getting bored on long flights? Try booking your next flight with Daredevil Airways. With Daredevil, we get you to your destination in style. I'm talking corkscrews, nosedives, loops, and all sorts of other aeronautical maneuvers that are sure to get your heart racing. Never be bored on a flight again with Daredevil Airways. Also, they are legally obliged to say that if you have a heart condition or history of high blood pressure, you should ask a doctor before riding Daredevil Airways. Also, they're not responsible for any in-flight deaths that may cause during the flight. We are offering a special discount for our listeners today. Buy one flight with Daredevil and get the return flight free. Just go onto their website and use promo code Daredevil. Okay. And let's get started. How's everyone doing today?
I could use a nap.
Hey, I'm good. I have a question.
Here's an answer.
Are you allowed to use Daredevil Airways if you have heart diabetes?
Okay, that's a backstory. Okay. So, Thomas, for those of you who don't know, Thomas has a rare heart condition called heart diabetes.
Oh my.
Where he has to take a pill for his heart diabetes. I don't know actually anything about the condition itself, but I do know that every once in a while he will lay on the ground and have a panic-looking attack.
He will convulse.
Should we explain what actually is wrong with me?
Sure, if you want to. If you want to go deeper into your heart diabetes.
I want to hear the lore. The Thomas lore.
Is this related to your appendix at all?
No.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Thomas has had appendicitis. Not even for fun. It was a mandatory one.
Thomas also has a swollen leg, and
That's still going on.
That is still going on.
Thomas
It's
is
just
the picture of
blood pressure
health, basically.
You just take blood pressure medication, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what heart diabetes is.
It's not I have low blood pressure.
Okay.
Is
that the good kind or the bad kind? Like, is it better to have low blood pressure or high blood pressure? Obviously, not good to have either. But like, if I had to have one,
I think high blood pressure is more common.
Low blood pressure is probably better just because like the amount of like the bad side effects that my medication has is like no and not anywhere near the same like level of severity to what the like bad side effects of high blood pressure medication is. Like probably the worst symptom or side effect that I have is like my head itches sometimes.
I don't know. Having an itchy head is kind of a deal breaker.
Yeah, but like there's all sorts of like long-term like issues with taking high blood pressure medication.
like what?
I don't know. Like I haven't looked at it recently, but I know it's like there are more severe side effects.
I hope the answer is low blood pressure.
Is it a multiple choice question?
I think that is one of them, but
Which is full circle. Is that better to have low blood pressure or high blood pressure?
I mean, I know one of the side effects of taking my medication is high blood pressure.
I'd hope so.
That's the
Or
whole
else, like,
point,
what's the
isn't it?
point of the medication?
The point of the medication is to give you high blood pressure. Then you can take more medication to even it back out.
It's all a scam anyway. It's like when you put your fan on, but then you also have the AC running, but then you also have the window open. I have a question. Brian, you said you wanted to take a nap. At what point, like it's 9 o'clock right now, at what point is it like you can't consider it a nap? It has to be considered sleeping. Because I feel like if you were to take a nap at 9 o'clock, that's
I'd say anything longer than 6 hours is not a nap.
What?
6
hours?
That's pretty long.
Holy cow, bro!
I would say part of it has to depend on like how long you sleep, yeah, but like when you wake up. Like
Like time of day.
if you go to bed at 9 but wake up at like 10, that's a nap. But if you go to bed at 9 and wake up at like 7:30 in the morning, you slept.
But what if you go to bed at 8 a.m. and wake up at 8 p.m.?
You slept.
That's sleeping.
That could be a really power nap.
But now here's a better
That's
question.
the most powerful nap.
What if you go to bed at 11 p.m. and wake up at 3 a.m.?
Gets 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
That's insomnia.
I'd consider that waking up in the middle of a sleep. Is it also, how much of it is intent? Like if you intend to sleep longer, or you intend to just go for a couple hours and then you oversleep.
I think it could still be a nap regardless of intent, hypothetically.
Okay, I think we've run the course of this one. So the next thing, we do have to play catch up. There are a few stories that we have to explain. The first one, dentures. Nick, do you want to take this one?
I don't know. Dan, the best part is you at the end, so I think you got to take it off.
So pretty much, we were at trivia night at Champs, and it was just like a normal night. It was you, Nick, Tyler, myself, and Nick's brother. And it was just, we're playing trivia. Was that the night we got like a free 10 points because the guy sucked at trivia?
No, that was
scored.
we blew
That was
that
a different
one.
night.
Yeah,
Okay.
we blew that.
Different night.
Well, we were definitely in like the home stretch. Like, forget what happened, everything leading up to the final question. It all came down to the final question. You can bet up to 15 of your points, and we had like 30 some. So obviously everyone bets all of it, because that's what you do at trivia. You bet all your points at the end. And the question was, oh man, this is gonna be actually tough to remember the question. Nick, do you remember?
I do remember the question. Okay, so a CDC survey, I think it was in like 2017, found that Kentucky and West Virginia led the nation in senior citizens who did not have this. That was exactly what the question was. I remember clear as day, and it's important the way I said it.
So then we are trying to rack our brains about what the heck it could possibly be. And then we were throwing out suggestions. Nick said something. He said dentures. Old people don't have dentures. And I was like, I like that answer. I was thinking something with teeth. And so that's the answer we end up going with. Begrudgingly against the other members of our team, I would say. Just because there's nothing else we could possibly think of. And so the guy reads the question again, then he gives the answer. The answer to the question that you just said is old people in whatever states don't have teeth. Is that the right answer?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. We put dentures then, and the answer was teeth. And then the guy who was running the trivia immediately followed up with, the answer is teeth, not dentures.
Oh.
I'm guessing he specifically said that because we, a team put dentures, us. But that's not where the story ends, because then he goes to read the results, and we were all just about ready to go. But I was like, no, I just want to see what place we got, how close we came. And so he's reading off the scores, and you're like, in 10th place, this, in 9th place, this. And keep in mind, we did the math. We knew exactly how many points we should have had if we got the question wrong. And so he passes that number, and he hasn't said our name yet. And so we're just wondering, what the heck? Like, why didn't he say our name? And so then he keeps going, and like at this point, you figure he must have given us dentures anyway, even though we get the, he specifically said they're not counting dentures. And so these keep listing off the names. 3rd place, this. 2nd place, this. And then in 1st place, Springford Gang was our team name. Springford Gang takes home 1st place. And as soon as he says that, I just jump up out of my seat and like, yes, that is right. And I walk over, and I've never been received an award. I accepted it for the team, of course. I've never accepted an award where the guy giving it to me had such a look of just like disappointment.
He did not want to give you that gift card.
And we just took the gift card and got out of there as soon as possible. And it was the best $25 I ever earned in my life. We ever earned.
Team effort.
I remember that.
And don't forget, there was a lot of dialogue on whether we should put teeth or dentures down.
And there was
I stuck with my gun. I just, there's something about dentures.
That was the exact quote from the night. There was something about dentures. And you know what? I'd rather win with dentures, the fake answer that he said he would not give credit to, than actually getting the right answer. That's just me.
So, wait, did he end up giving you credit for it?
Yes, we were the only team to get the question right. And I think that's why he gave it to us, because no team got the question right. And he probably just thought it's lame if no one gets the question right for the final trivia question. So he just gave it to us.
So you guys were the only team that said anything remotely close to teeth?
Exactly.
It was a hard question. It could have been literally anything. It could have been like AIDS.
anything.
It could have been
And like
anything.
heart diabetes?
Yeah, it could have been heart diabetes.
But no, seriously, like, of all the it's also like the actual answer is so like stupid. It's like, oh, they don't have teeth.
It's not worded like teeth is going to be the answer.
Yeah, that was
like
another
medical condition.
They said this too, not these, not
those.
you know.
Yeah, they're
blank. They said this.
they're tense or what subject verb agreements off.
Yeah. Hell, they could have said like cars or something like that, and that still would have been a valid
A
answer.
CDC study found that
People in Kentucky don't have cars.
I believe that though. So
I straight up learned that CDC stands for Center of Disease Control from Black Ops.
Call of Duty Black Ops. Ramirez, what do the numbers mean?
As much as
Modern Warfare 2, he was the guy who just had to do everything, even though he was like a private.
Ramirez, breach that door.
Yeah.
Ramirez, hide my shoes.
Dan, as much as I find that sad, but I also like I forget what I was gonna say. Never mind.
Train of thought is slowly going downhill.
Ramirez, remember what Thomas was gonna say.
Does Ramirez live in the end? Because like everyone you play as
I don't
dies.
know,
Sure.
Like,
I play
the no Russian guy dies.
Yeah. And then Ghost and the Russian team dies. Like Ghost and his pal.
Ghost, Roach.
Yeah, that's it.
MW2.
No, I think Ramirez is the guy who puts the knife in Shepard's head at the end, right? It's got to be.
No, that's Price.
Oh, really? And who the heck?
Yeah.
Who's Price?
So
Is that Soap? Or is that
No,
different?
no. Soap's another guy.
Oh yeah, there's a new Call of Duty game coming out. That's just Modern Warfare. What's the deal with that?
It's a remake, I think.
No, it's not a remake. So let me shed you some light on this. So are you sitting down?
Wait, isn't it? I think I know. Never mind. Go on.
So Modern Warfare is a whole new thing. They're taking a page from the book of Apex and Fortnite and all that, and just doing all free to play like stuff aside from just buying the game. So it's going to be like all updates and DLC stuff will be free, so that way there'll be none of that annoying shit that they've had in the past where it's, oh, you wanna get this new gun? All right, yeah, just have the the battle pass or pre-order whatever. So
Yeah, I know what you're talking
you
about.
can get the most broken gun in the game, and well, so it's gonna be all boots on the ground, like classic Modern Warfare 2 style. Trying to remember what else. There will be a campaign, which they didn't have one for Black Ops 4. So there will be a campaign for it. And I think Price is like the main driving guy for this again.
Is Reznov going to be in the game? That's the question everyone's asking.
I doubt it.
What about Mason?
No, Mason.
Oh, he was Black Ops. Yeah.
That took place a while.
Just tell me, do I need to buy this new Call of Duty game?
I'm gonna get it because they actually just released a short trailer for the multiplayer start, and it's very different from any game. Like
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, actually, I thought it was really interesting. So you're literally dropped off in a chopper, and like you first do like a loop around the entire map. Like you're literally just chilling on a chopper ride and just loading in.
Interesting.
So you can see the entire map beforehand, which I thought was interesting. So I think it has potential. Well, whether or not it actually is good, it has yet to be seen. But it also doesn't come out for another 2 months.
Huh. I have not bought a Call of Duty game since MW3. That was the last Call of Duty game I bought.
Good for you.
I have not bought a Call of Duty game since...
Thomas, I have a feeling you never played a Call of Duty game.
Let
alone bought one.
I have played a Call of Duty game.
Did you ever own one?
No.
That's actually impressive in its own right. To go through childhood without owning a Call of Duty game.
I went through childhood without owning a GameCube.
That's right. You went through childhood without ever watching SpongeBob too.
That's not true. It's not true. Okay, it's not true. I didn't
I know
watch.
you saw the movie. Okay, don't worry.
No, I saw the show before I saw the movie. I just didn't watch it. Like I didn't. Just because I didn't watch it growing up doesn't mean I've never seen it.
Just the David Hasselhoff scene.
What? I watched the whole movie begrudgingly at a summer camp. No, stop! I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
This is literally when I was editing the first episode of the podcast, we have this exact conversation, and it literally ends up going to Thomas saying summer camp, and then Nick and I chanting camp afterward. It is literally the same exact thing. That is amazing.
Welcome back to episode 1.
Okay, what's her name gonna be? Owen. Let's give our names to Owen.
Something about dentures.
Okay, the potential names we have for our podcast are number 1 on the list is Tootin in the Deep.
Okay.
Don't give the backstory for this because it's just we're gonna just give them the names, then you can decide. Another one is Tomato Salad, and then from there it would just be like something involving high school friends or stories from high school, which honestly we have like pretty much not told at all since the podcast has started. Which is kind of why part of the reason I wanted to start this podcast was to have documentation of some of these stories. I'm so glad Owen's here to join us today because you're one of the best storytellers I know.
So. Oh, thank you. I don't know if I have any valuable stories to add. But out of those 3 options,
yeah.
I mean, you could also come up with a completely different one.
I got Tooting in the Deep kind of resonates with me for some reason. I don't know why you guys came up with that or what the story is, but I kind of like it. Would it be the Tooting in the Deep podcast or
just Tootin in the Deep? That's it. Just
deep. Okay.
Just straight Tootin in the Deep.
Huh.
So now let's explain the backstory. You're familiar with Fairly Odd Parents, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the character Deep Toot?
Deep?
Which is just Tootie in disguise, giving information to Timmy's parents.
Oh, she's like a detective, right?
Yeah.
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 And so it's a play off words of Deep Toot with Tootin' in the Deep.
I completely forgot oh my god, I forgot about that character. Butch Hartman was on a beam. Every screenplay that man wrote, bro, oh my goodness gracious.
The crazy part is that show's still going on.
Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. I didn't even know for a while. Like, I thought it was off the air for years.
I think Butch Hartman I think his contract ended with Nickelodeon, though.
It probably did.
He was like the original animator and creator, so I guess a different studio must have taken over.
I'm going to tell you the quality has definitely dipped since the good old days.
Yeah.
Speaking of Butch Hartman, I saw this crackpot conspiracy theory. I don't know if you guys know what this is. Do you guys know what Pizzagate is?
Yeah, I'm familiar. Oh yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah. Like huge, like A-list celebrities and political figures are involved with this child sex trafficking, right?
Did you say
And
pizza?
Yeah, Pizzagate, and it all comes back to this pizzeria in Washington D.C. And when the conspiracy theories started coming out, it was very quickly dismissed by social media. They were like, "What the heck are you talking about? Why would a pizza shop in D.C. be the source of a sex trafficking ring on an international scale?" Right? But now with this Jeffrey Epstein scandal that just broke loose, Pizzagate got like a whole revitalization. So now it's all over the place. And I saw a crackpot on Twitter saying that Butch Hartman was part of Pizzagate. And I was like, ew, that's so messed up.
There's no way Butch Hartman would be a part of Pizzagate.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's true.
I still refuse to believe that Dan Schneider has a foot fetish or something.
He does.
I refuse to believe it.
Oh, yeah. I thought about Dan Snyder, too.
I don't know who these people are.
A Nickelodeon comic. They were all characters on SpongeBob.
There were like molestation and abuse allegations against Dan Hartman as well.
Really?
Yeah, I forget who just sent him out, but someone definitely like yelled about it. It was during like the whole hype of the Me Too movement, I believe.
Wow, we're like, we're really, bringing the positive energy here.
Well, it's just allegations. So is that positive or negative?
I mean, the subject matter is
It's
negative.
It's exciting. I think it's positive. Exciting.
God.
Dad, please stop.
If it's true, then that's terrible. But if it's just rumors,
That juicy gossip, baby.
that makes it okay. If you just say you like for instance, I hear that Oprah had an affair. That's just that's speculation. Probably not true, but it's okay to talk about it as long as it's speculation. Perpetuating those rumors, though, that is the morally questionable part.
Yeah, it's just fake news.
That's my favorite argument for anything. Just as soon as someone has a logical case against you, just say fake news. It's so genius. I love it.
It honestly, it's on the same level as No You. It actually is.
Yeah, but No You is a fantastic comeback.
You can't counter No You.
I like No You better than... Oh, No You even counters fake news. No You is a tier above fake news.
I don't even think it's rock, paper, scissors. There's nothing that beats No You. It's the gun.
No, in rock, paper, scissors, No You is the gun. Yeah.
So has anyone, you guys heard about Joy-Con drift?
No.
Okay, so apparently there's a problem with Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons where you know how with the Nintendo Wii analog stick, it would sometimes it would sometimes desync and be in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that, except it just eventually gradually shifts over to this the calibration gradually shifts over to the side until the point where the controller's completely unusable, and you either have to buy a new one and hope that it doesn't happen to that one as well, or send it to Nintendo for the next month, and they fix it and send it back to you, and you just hope that it doesn't happen again.
Has that happened to yours?
No, but it's been a big kind of news thing. And
Joy-Con Gate. Driftgate. That sounds good. I like Driftgate.
Driftgate.
You just add gate to anything afterwards. Like, it started with Watergate. That made sense because it was the Watergate Hotel. Then they just added it to Deflategate, like out of nowhere, like 30 years after the initial Watergate thing. And now, ever since then, with Bridgegate, Pizzagate, you just add gate to something, and then it's instantly a scandal.
You know what's really crazy?
What?
For whatever reason, I was watching Jeopardy yesterday, and they had a whole thing on gates. Like,
the category?
Gates around the world. Yep.
Was Golden Gate one of them?
Golden Gate was one of them.
Was Deflategate, or like one of the names one of them?
No. It was all like just
actual
gates.
Gates.
Give you like actual
Bill Gates.
Gate.
Is that a gate? Is that a
No.
scandal? Is Bill Gates a scandal?
Bill Gates is now a scandal.
It's multiple scandals.
Yeah, because it's gate plural.
Anyway, so Joy-Con drift is a big problem. There actually is a class action lawsuit against Nintendo formulating over it. So I saw yesterday that apparently Nintendo of America specifically is addressing it. And so the president of Nintendo of America, Doug Bowser, made a video, posted this video, talking about the Deflategate,
Drift.
about Joy-Con drift and explaining what was going on, that they were aware of it, and how they were addressing it. And apparently, while he is doing the presentation, he gradually sidesteps off to the side, off the camera.
On purpose?
Yeah, over the course of
good.
it, and gradually just steps to the side until you can't hear what he's saying. And then he later on eventually comes back and continues and then does the same thing over again. And then I just
What was that in the background? I'm sorry, Thomas.
But I just love that they're addressing a serious issue and then actually subvert it in their own video.
You just have to cover it up with comedy.
You think it's planned obsolescence? Is that planned obsolescence? Is that what it's called? What
So
Apple does?
Oh, what are you talking about?
Oh, where they
Yeah, where the software and the hardware eventually interact and then die after a certain point on purpose, so you're forced to upgrade. You think that's what it is?
That makes sense.
What?
It's called. I'm probably botching the second word. It's called planned obsolescence or obsolescence, something like that.
Planned abstinence.
No, close. But it was something that Apple had allegations against them for, and it was basically saying that after 4 years or so of owning an iPhone, the iPhone will just run into extremely critical issues where the battery will die at 60% and things like that. And there was evidence.
Oh yeah.
There was evidence that said that it wasn't an actual phone issue, but the software dictating that the phone would die, or some firmware drivers, something was going on.
Yeah, Apple I remember that because Apple actually programmed it to do that.
Correct.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. Do you think it's that?
I don't think so, because for one thing, the Switch has only been around for 2.5 years. So I also don't think people already buy all the different colored Joy-Cons anyway. So I don't think they're making them die. Plus I have two pairs of Joy-Cons and I got it when it came out, and I haven't really had a problem.
So I think it was also not an evil company that would do that sort of thing.
Yeah,
they're not EA.
Yeah. I feel like it would be they care too much about PR to do something that devious. I mean, I say that, and for all I know, they could be the worst of them.
They're just running the whole ring. That'd be that one episode of South Park where Mickey Mouse is a mafia, a mob boss.
Oh, the Jonas Brothers episode.
Yeah, yeah.
They're selling sex to children.
So there's one more thing we need to explain from the last time, from episode 1 at least, and that's what's up?
I feel like we all just made that, what Brian just said, really, really awkward because none of us responded. We just went completely silent. It sounded so weird because we didn't laugh. We didn't respond with anything. We just let it sit there.
As it should.
Pizzagate, bro.
Anyway, so the other thing we need to explain.
Yeah, the last thing is Dane, and pretty much what that story is, I swear, and this has only been in college. It has never happened before college or after college. But whenever I introduce myself to someone, literally anyone, someone on my floor, a classmate, whatever, I would say, or what's your name? Whatever. What's your name? I'd say Dan. And 100% of the time, they would repeat back at me, Dane? Like that, did you say Dane? It's like, no, Dan. I don't even understand how it sounds. Does it sound like Dane when I say Dan?
No.
I have no idea. And it happened every single time to the point where I have borderline came so close sometimes just saying, yep, it's Dane Wiesner. That's what you can call me. And just keep this facade going.
I have a friend from college named Dane, and he's a wild boy. He's like, so this man is from Wisconsin, and his dad is like super well off. He's like a cardiovascular surgeon and whatnot. So he comes from a very affluent family, but he's not stuck up at all. He's like super shy, very carries himself well, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like 6'8".
Oh my god.
He's probably pushing God, dude, probably 250, 260. This man is a tank. I have never seen a larger man than him. I don't know. He hit the genetic lottery in terms of just absolute unit status. Is
it like muscle or does it look like that?
Well, that's the thing. So he's definitely not toned, just because at that size, it's very, very hard to have a very toned musculature. But he is so strong. He came. I remember I was working out one day, and he came in the gym, and he sat up next to me on the squat rack. He's like, "Hey man, how you been? I haven't seen you in a while." We were just talking, and he mentioned offhandedly that he hadn't been to the gym in half a year because of his fraternity and a really tough semester. So he was out of practice. And this man, granted, he could have been lying, but Dane is not. He's not the type to do that. He's a really nice guy, really swell character. This man loads up 495 pounds of bar.
Oh my god.
495, which is 5 plates on each side. And he squats it for 4 sets of 8, and then he deadlifts 405 for 4 sets of 20, and then leaves. And it was in the span of 30 minutes. He wasn't even. It was crazy. I've never. Oh, and then that night he sent me Snapchat of him running. So at University of Pittsburgh, where I went, the neighborhood that you're in is called Oakland. And he sent me Snapchats of him running around Oakland at 2 a.m. in swimming goggles.
It's air resistant.
In his underwear. And he was just running around and busting people's parties and just giving people eggs. And I was like, who are you?
Eggs or handing
them. He was just literally. I don't know if he was almost breaking and entering. I don't know what he was doing or how he was gaining entrance to these functions, but he would just Snapchat me videos of people, him walking into this house and just he's giving people eggs and then he runs to a new party, and I was like, who are you, bro? He was so funny. That man's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
He was definitely one of the more interesting characters I met at college.
Owen, I swear, you have like 100 different college stories, and each one's more ridiculous than the last.
I don't know, dude. It's just the people I meet. I never do anything myself. I just like go home and study. But it's just the people I meet are just the craziest people.
See, Dan, maybe they wish that you were that guy, and that's why they call you Dane.
They wish
Yeah.
I was Dane?
Yeah.
Oh, the big guy. They probably have
Yeah.
seen that guy before, and they just get us
Yeah.
confused because I'm also almost 6'8", like 6'3",
Yeah.
and almost 250 pounds. Like I'm breaking 160. So yeah.
God,
Wait, that's.
dude, man.
I mean, if you look at it at a large enough scale, you're basically the same height and weight.
It's all relative anyway, right?
Yeah.
And we both have like the same name. Here's the question though: Does he ever say his name's Dane and people confuse it and they're like Dan?
No.
I need to ask him that.
No,
No. Oh.
no. Like I feel like he says my name is Dane. Well, I also think he just has so many characteristics about him that it's very hard to just like see his face and forget. You know,
Yeah.
just because of how tall he is, how large he is, and how like just quirky of a guy he is. I think it's very hard to just forget. Yeah.
And I swear, I think you're talking about me right now. Speaking of me, I've been on a tear with my recent YouTube videos.
What
And I
is
think
that?
that's the
I
reason
didn't
why
watch your one today.
What?
I didn't watch the one you put out today.
This is probably
I watched it.
it might be my best video since 2 keyboards, 3 screens.
That's a fair comparison. I think. It's
very
pretty
different.
good.
It's a commercial. It's
Very different, but it's
charismatic Dan running for president.
Dan. I started to like reply this in YouTube, and then I didn't. But I wanna share it on like the video on Twitter and like pledge my jokingly. I mean, I guess maybe not jokingly, but pledging my like support for charismatic Dan. But he doesn't have a good hashtag like to like you know.
Charismatic for prez. It's easy.
No, if it's too big though, it's too wordy. I mean, like
Car for
Charisma
prez.
you can trust.
Yeah, that's a good
Ooh.
tagline. Yeah, Nick, you're my new campaign manager.
Okay, good. Sounds good.
that's
Do I get a campaign manager Dan shirt?
Yeah. Oh my God. Did I show you guys the shirts? That's the other thing. I am like, my boss has been super into my YouTube channel. Like I told him about it, and he has gone out of his way not only to like watch everything I put out, but he's really into like graphic design and stuff like that. So he has like the stuff to, you know how I make my shirts? Like I just use like a fabric pen. He prints shirts. He like cuts out stencils that he has a machine cutter for that costs like $200 or something, and then he just cuts out stencil designs and has everything he needs to like print out shirts. He made a Breadkins shirt for me. It is the craziest thing.
I think you did mention it last week, but
now I literally have a whole line of shirts. It's called the Clothes Make the Dan catalog.
Oh, wow.
I'll need to show you guys sometime. It is really good. My channel is at the best point it's ever been. And the stock is rising, let me tell you. Buy now. It is low and it is rising.
Invest in Dan.
Yeah.
Speaking of stock, I don't think I talked about this. Maybe I did, but we'll find out. I found out like a month or so ago that for working at Starbucks, if you work there long enough, they have different like periods at which point you like are.
Oh, that reminds me of something. Brian, you know what I'm gonna say.
At which point you are given stock in the company. So like in April, I apparently got 5 shares in Starbucks, and like
Do they call them Starbucks?
no.
I'll be here all week.
In November, I get 4 more, and in the following November, I get 4 more.
That's pretty cool. How's Starbucks doing as a company?
As a company, the last I checked, the stocks were doing really well. As a company, I think it's still doing decent. It briefly had it briefly got in a bit of hot water like around July 4th, but I think they got themselves out of it for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
They had.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm about to change the subject. So.
You can change the subject.
I'm not sure if you guys heard, but T-Mobile just did a merger with Sprint.
Yeah.
So now two things about that. Number one, I had T-Mobile stock. Guess how much the price went up? Guess how much it went up?
Well, it went down to 0.
Yeah, it went up like...
I have no idea what the price was originally.
It was originally 78-ish, and now it's 83.
Yeah,
making
boy.
the big bucks here. Yeah, I was really expecting more, but I'm happy it went up.
That's still
So now it's time to sell. Except I paid $7 for the stock, so maybe I should just keep holding on.
That's still a huge jump.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Dan, this is unrelated to what we're talking about now, but I don't know what happened, but I commented one time on one of your YouTube videos, and it like took a couple days for it to process, and I got an email about it on my account. It said we were reviewing your comment, and then YouTube auto moderator removed it from your video. And I don't even remember what it was. It was literally the stupidest comment I've ever made on your video, and it wasn't like mean or harmful or anything. And it just got auto removed.
That's funny. I don't even think I got an email about it. That's weird.
Yeah, because I think it had an emoji in it. It was probably some like nonsense. And it just got auto removed. I was like, why? What did I do to Dan?
My sister just told, speaking of like YouTube being YouTube, my sister was telling me about this one user, like, who his full name was his like YouTube channel type name. His last name was Dyke. And YouTube, he actually had to rebrand his entire channel and change his last name because YouTube like tried to shut him down.
That's funny.
For it being offensive, and it's literally his last name.
What would you change it to?
I don't remember. I don't remember because I didn't end up looking him up.
Oh yeah, to finish up with my thought with T-Mobile, the second thing I wanted to say is, what's going to happen to the Sprint guy now, who originally pledged his allegiance to Verizon, switched to Sprint, and now is he going to be the T-Mobile guy?
Okay, so do you remember that girl for T-Mobile a while ago? Yeah, she's John Hamm's wife in real life, or ex-wife.
For
maybe.
T-Mobile has a spokesperson?
Yeah, she had like a pink dress with white polka dots, but then she changed into like black leather and drove a motorcycle and got super edgy.
I vaguely remember that.
I don't recall this at all.
Well, I was thinking like they were gonna like, I don't know, start a family together or something.
Oh my god!
Because everyone has to have a cinematic universe for their
the progressive
commercials.
Ads are freaking ridiculous. They've gotten so good. Like
I think Jamie's replaced Flo almost officially now.
Yeah, probably just because of price. Like, let's be honest, Flo probably charges like a ridiculous amount, and they're like, no, we'll just have Jamie. Well, I'm assuming just does it for free, based on his character.
It's kind of short-sighted because, like, in like 3 years, Jamie's gonna be really expensive, and they're gonna be replacing him with somebody else.
Yeah,
they have the whole cast. Yeah, Alan. Should say
it just keeps growing. I can't wait for Progressive Endgame next year.
Where Thanos comes and collects all of the insurance companies.
He has all home auto, all the bundles.
He cuts the price of bundles in half.
Oh, why haven't they done that? They can do so much. Ryan, they should get you on that.
But this does put a smile on my face.
Home and auto, equally balanced. As all things should be.
As all things should be.
It'd be impossible for them to like do that kind of crossover at this point, though, considering Disney owns like everything now.
Even Progressive.
Not Progressive, but they own
They
Marvel.
If I was Disney, I'd buy Progressive and Geico.
I read an article about like it's like speculating on how exactly they're going to try and work Deadpool into the Avengers,
I don't think it
or even
feels like a different universe.
or even like they're saying they're going to make a third Deadpool movie, but considering it's under Disney, it's like kind of questionable. Like, if it's gonna like be the same. I don't think. Yeah,
Well, they came out with a Christmas movie that was rated PG-13. Did anyone see that?
Wasn't it just a retelling of the second movie, but PG-13? It was like I don't know, like a meta kind of movie.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, Once Upon a Deadpool.
Yeah, it got terrible reviews. Only because it wasn't R.
Hey everyone, this is Dan. I just wanted to give a little warning because the next portion of this podcast will be vulgar in content and viewer discretion is advised. Thank you. Okay, now I want to shift the topic to Thomas. About 5 minutes ago, in his conversation, he used the word period, which got me thinking about something I was talking with Brian earlier. And I want to take a moment to introduce the newest segment to the podcast. Guys talk about female anatomy.
Oh,
Topic of discussion today: how do periods work? Brian and I were trying to figure it out.
Dan was trying to figure it out. I know.
I feel like I know like 90% of it, but if I mess up, I'm gonna look like the biggest loser in the world. So I'll
mess
sit
it
this
up.
one out.
I got this.
Go
one.
ahead.
So, first of all, you have to hit puberty, and then when you're like 12, because girls hit puberty before guys, every month, blood shoots out of their.
Oh my god!
I think it's like, I don't know if it's like, you know how like you feel like you have to go take a poop, you know, like you go take a poop, and like you have time to prepare for this. You can get to a bathroom in time. I think it just happens with girls, and it's like an accident essentially, but it's okay because they have maxi pads and tampon.
I can't do this, Dan.
But what I have a question, like I have no idea if that's like actually how it goes. I'm obviously not a girl, but if that were to happen to me, like literally every month, that would just get so annoying. I might just take the birth control pills just to have that happen less. Because like you're in the middle of class, you know, like can that just happen in the middle of class? Like you have your period.
It happens all the time.
You just
literally every day.
No, like I'm in like a lecture hall with 300 people. Like statistically, one of them has to be. Actually, statistically, 10 of them are having their period that day. Maybe
if they're all girls.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, assume. That's actually a good point.
Well, who said that they have to identify as female to have a period?
Oh god,
that's true.
Yep.
Not getting into that. Let's stick to the anatomy. Not make it a gender discussion. So they have no like they can't like just say just give me like 5 more minutes, body, and then I'll do it when you reach the bathroom. Man, that's so
and I hear it kind of feels like you're peeing yourself, or at least it feels like you don't feel it coming. Then all of a sudden you're just like, why is my lap warm?
Oh my god, so weird. Do guys do anything?
It's not comfortable.
Like
no.
I guess the closest thing we have is like wet dreams, right? Do girls have wet dreams?
What? This is not a conversation I want to.
Welcome to late night talk. Tootin in the deep.
After hours. This is Tootin in the deep end.
dude.
Here's a little trivia. Oh, go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was just gonna say a little bit of trivia for you. The first time a girl has her period, it's called menarche. And that's just a little fun kernel for you.
Man.
My story is not as eloquent as I just remember. I was gonna say. I remember the first time that I busted in my sleep, and I was so scared. Next morning, I woke up because I remember it was a summer night in like 8th grade, or well, the summer in between like 8th and 9th, or 7th and 8th. You know,
Of course, the coming of a man.
12. Yes. And I remember it was super hot in my house. So I was like, you know what, bro? I'm gonna sleep naked. So there I was, slept naked. And then I remember waking up, and I tried to get out of my bed, and my sheets just came with my body because I cemented my sheets to my pubic area with my feet. And it was so gross, dude. And I literally had to like ball the sheets up, spit off of my meat, and like hide it in the hamper. It was so embarrassing, you know. But that was the only time I've ever had a wet dream, and it was very traumatizing.
Oh boy.
I remember the first time I had a wet dream. I remember it distinctly.
Why are
It
we having this conversation?
it wasn't even my bed. It was my cousin's, because I was at their beach house for the summer.
Oh no!
And that one was really weird.
This is
Oh, God.
your cousin.
I don't even think anyone found out. That was the craziest part.
Roll Tide.
Well, I guess after I left, they would have found out. But
Maybe.
I don't know how I got away with that.
You hid
I
that
guess just didn't get to the sheets. Like, my underwear just took the full
a full blast.
And I remember that one specifically because the moment before, like the dream trigger for the release was, I don't know why, it was Larry the Lobster in a rowboat.
Wait.
Oh.
I'm not going to say that caused it. I'm not going to say I have a thing for Larry the Lobster, but that's the last thing I remember, and then I remember just jizzing.
Hey,
Clearly, he looked at you and just said, "Absurd."
No, I mean, if we're gonna come clean, I remember mine had something to do with the pink Power Ranger. So,
Wait, you told me this before.
dude,
You definitely told me that before.
I was busting fatties to the pink Power Ranger when I was 12 years old, bro.
I mean, if you're going to do it for any color, that one makes the most sense.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, man. I forget which generation of Power Rangers that was.
What?
I think she was like,
This is the Dino Rangers.
low key. There was some cheeks in those tights, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Pink Power Rangers got a new move. It's called the Nutbuster.
Speaking of Nutbuster, I'm not sure. This is completely up to you, Owen, if you want to tell a story or not. But you told me a very funny story about someone you having some red in your white, if you know what I mean.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, sure.
You don't have to tell if you don't want it.
It's okay. One of my other roommates had the same situation as me, except his the opportunity or the circumstances that caused it were a little different and a little bit more vulgar than mine. So mine, I was at the gym. I feel like every story I've told, I've been at the gym. This is really sad.
You just do the gym. That's all you do.
Yeah, that's
just
what I've
gym.
been doing, man. That's how I've been for a while. But anyway, I was at the gym, and I was with my roommate, Zach. And, you know, Zach was hyping himself up the whole time we were there. He was like, I'm going to hit a new personal best on the bench press today. So we load up the weight on the bar, and he unracks it, takes his breath, pulls it down, and presses it like a champion. Like it flew up off of his chest. I've never seen a faster rep in my life. He was freaking out, and he took his fist and he just rammed it right into my undercarriage as hard as he could, and he just punched me in my sack. It really hurt, and you know, to this day, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, or if it was just the result of him celebrating and wildly flailing his fist. But he apologized after the fact. And, you know, it kind of hurt. I was waddling around in the gym for like 5-10 minutes. And I was like, wowee, this really hurt. I go home that night. And mind you, at this point, I was talking to this one girl, and she was putting the moves on. So I was like, oh, am I about to slide in? So I've been spitting the heat to this one girl, and I just got punched in the nuts. Wasn't even thinking about it because went home, just ate some dinner, was feeling good. And then the next morning, my actual roommate, the roommate who shared the room with me, left for class, and I was like, you know what time it is, boy? So I pulled out that Vaseline cocoa butter, and shoot up some crazy stuff on the hub. And I was just going for it. And I remember it was feeling extra good. I got my heat tissue. I aimed. I shot. And like the first pulse of my man gravy was like looking normal. And then the second shot was a little pink. And at this point, I was like, yo, what the fuck? Hold on. And then the third was red. And the fourth was brown. And I was like, oh my God, this is where it ends. This is where I have a fucking plague in my dick. I'm going to die. So I freaked out. I didn't get post-nut clarity. Like, that's what I'm most sad about. I didn't even get post-nut clarity. And so I'm just sitting there on my bed. My pants are around my ankles, and this disgusting tissue is just sitting next to me. So I immediately look at the Pitt Health Center website, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I call them, and they're like, hello, what's the issue? I just straight up, I was like, yo, look, lady, this isn't nice to say, but I have blood in my ejaculate, and I'd like to be seen immediately. And she was like, she was like drinking coffee or something. I coughed it all over. And she was like, oh, yes, of course. What's your student ID? So I gave it to her with very little pride left in my body at this point. And I was like, geez, man, like, what could be causing this? Because at this point, I hadn't connected the dots. I was so traumatized by shooting blood out of the tip of my dick. I could not connect the dots that, oh, I got punched in my nuts last night. That could very well be the reason why I had blood in my ejaculate. So I was thinking the worst. And I went to the doctor, and he just ran through everything, and he was like, have you taken any trauma to your
nether region?
And I was like, oh my God, doctor, yeah, I have. I got punched last night. And he was like, well, that's it, man. That's why you have it. And then I went a couple days without beating off. And then on like the third day, I was like, I'm a young, healthy individual. I feel like my body's ability to regenerate and repair tissues is pretty good. So I did a test, and it was still red, and I was like, oh, fuck. That's not good. And the doctor, he was like, yeah, it should, Dr. Humphrey was his name. Shout out Dr. Humphrey.
How long does this story go on for?
It's okay, man. It's almost done, I swear.
I can't believe it's just...
He's like, it should be done in 3 or 4 days. At that point, I was really scared because I was like, oh my God. And then that night, I think I went over to this girl's house, and I just didn't even think about it. And I still don't know to this day. We had some intimate contact, and to this day, I don't know if there was blood in my ejaculate. Because I did not see it. It went into her mouth.
And this has been Story Time with Owen.
Yeah, I think that's actually going to wrap it up. We've hit the hour mark. What a way to end. Thank you so much, Owen, for coming on today. I'm so glad we were able to have you.
Glad I could contribute that wild story.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, anyone?
I think Owen said it all.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Said it all, did it all.
Sorry, I gave that story to you, bro. I hope you don't have any crazy nightmares because of that.
And if you do, Just think of Owen.
Or the Pink Ranger. Or
Larry the
Larry the
Lobster.
yeah. Either one of those should get you going.
Whatever you need.
Well, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And see you.
Bye.
Yeah.
How do you?
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right.